Well, I did something right. I'm down here in the sunflower plot, and it's about 100% bloom right now. It's early July, and it has exceeded my expectations. I want to do a video and keep you up to date on what we're doing here to improve the new property for wildlife and game. I planted this sunflower plot for dove. We'll probably end up mowing and disking it under when it gets a little closer to the dove season right now, but it's done really well. All I did was I tilled about 3 inches, put some 10-10-10 down, and seeded and drug a chain harrow across it, and this is what I wound up with: about an acre field of beautiful, healthy sunflowers, taller than I am. And the best part about it is I was worried about weed growth growing up in it, because doves don't like to come in and feed in weedy cover because predators can hide in it. But I got some open ground, so I'm going to have to be careful getting back in here to show you this, because this thing is covered with local pollinators. I don't want to get stung. But let's go in here and show you what I got going on. So you can see down in here there is some weed growth. I didn't use any herbicide at all. I'm trying to do this without using any chemicals, just a little fertilizer, and there are some weeds, but you can see there is also a lot of open dirt back in here. The sunflowers effectively shaded out the weeds. I can hear doves cooing in the trees right here. We're seeing them hanging around. But these strips here are brown top millet. Now this is just getting started. I just recently planted this to add as an additional food plot, and when it seeds out, the doves will eat the seeds from this too. It's quick growing. It takes about 60 days, so it should be ready about the same time the sunflowers are ready to cut. It's suffering a little bit, and there's some brown spots. We only got rain once right after I planted it, but it seems to have done pretty well. Now this was just an experiment. I wanted to experiment with some standing field corn, and this is dent. I just did a 1/4 acre to see if it will work, and it looks like it's working good. This is about 30 days old. I'm going to let this stand all winter for wildlife, and if it forms good cobs and provides a food source, great. If not, the stalks will act as cover for turkeys. I plan to expand this because I didn't drill this. I broadcast this. Same way I planted the sunflowers. I tilled, fertilized, seeded, and then just took a drag harrow across it, and it did real well. And that's why I only did a 1/4 acre. I didn't know if it was going to work good or not, but it seems to have taken off. So next year, this is going to be a much bigger plot. Now here we have the clover that I frost seeded back in February, and you can see it's coming in pretty thick. It's about 3 or 4 inches tall, and what I plan to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and mow this at the end of August before the weeds in here go to seed, and that'll top the weeds off and let the fall sunlight get down on this clover, and it should come in really thick next year. I have this patch here behind the corn, and I've got another patch over in the side pasture. What I've got going on over there is this 1/2 acre of hyacinth bean. Now hyacinth bean, and this stuff here, is related to soybean, and deer supposedly love it. I wasn't seeing a lot of sign here when I got it going, but now that it's getting a little taller, I'm starting to see deer tracks in the mud around the edge of the field here. And that other patch of clover I got leads down from the wood edge along the edge all the way out here to this patch of bean. I'm also going to put in a fall food plot. Prepared one of those commercial fall food plots. I bought it from Domain here in about mid-August. I'm going to plant 1/2 acre of that. I think it's called Green Machine. back here up to the woodlot, and that's supposed to stay green through hunting season. It's a mix of brassica, clover, a lot of different, I can't remember, you'll have to look it up and see what's in it. It's called Green Machine by Domain, the food plot company Domain, and hopefully that'll get deer back in this little secluded pasture. I've got higher hopes because I'm seeing these tracks here now, so we will see how that goes. There's one more thing we're going to do in the woods back up here behind where I'm planting a food plot. Now you can see these woods behind me are mostly young pines, and it's pretty thick. Up on the hill over here we have a bunch of larger pines that have blown down and uprooted, and it's getting a lot of sunlight and second growth, plus there are deadfalls laying around, and it's really thick, hard to get through. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave that little area, maybe 5 acres, 8 acres, however much it is, going up on the ridge back there as kind of a sanctuary. But it doesn't mean we're not going to hunt it when the wind's right coming out of there. I think deer probably be bedded up on the ridge up there, moving down here into the field. So what Dana and I are going to do is we're going to take some saws, and there's an old deer trail here that's become obstructed. We're going to take our saws and open this up a little bit because deer like the course of least resistance, and try to get them going up past this big blowdown right here. And we'll cut this trail up through these pines about 20 yards from this blowdown and open up a shooting lane. And this trail will ultimately cross the woods and wind up on the other side of the woodblock in the other pasture where the sunflowers and corn is. So as I get food plots developed over there and the clover comes in better, hopefully the deer will start using this as a back and forth trail between the two woodlots, between the two fields. And we got our fingers crossed this is going to work. This will be our first year hunting here, and we have no idea what to expect. We do see a doe with a fawn around in the pasture, and I have a few small bucks on trail camera from last year, but we will see how it goes this year. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll be out here hunting those does before you know what happened. It's getting pretty close. I'm going to have to knock some of that down soon. But yeah, make sure you subscribe and join us and see how our fall turns out. And while you're at it, join us on a few hunts from last year. Just use these thumbnails here on the screen.